All right, here to talk about this weekend's game against Michigan. As an SEC girl, I have to ask, how has this transition to being in the Big Ten been for you guys this year?
The travel's a little bit different, and we have had good weather, and eventually that's going to break down on us a little bit. But transition hasn't been that big a deal, I don't think. I've been to every stadium in the country and done a game from every stadium in the country except Notre Dame, but that's because I've never worked for NBC. But we know a lot of these coaches from different places. James Franklin when he was at Vanderbilt, Lincoln Riley when he was at Oklahoma. We've known Kirk Ferentz forever. Brett Bielema is a good friend of mine and has been for a long time. So I think just the relationships you have along the way, and you know that too. You know people and you go to different places, but it's been kind of fun. It's a new challenge. I'm an old dog that's learning new tricks.
Speaking of Brett Bielema, having watched him transition from Arkansas to Wisconsin, the NFL, and now being here, what have you seen evolve in his style of coaching and the way he coaches his teams?
Well, I've known him since he was an assistant. I knew him as a player. Gary and I did some of his games when he was a player at Iowa. So from assistant there, then Kansas State, and then with Coach Alvarez as a defensive coordinator, and I've known him all the way. I just seen him grow up. I think he's in his early 50s now or whatever, but I knew him when he was single before he met Jen and had the little girls. So just seeing him grow as a man and as a coach, and I can see it every stop along the way. I think he's learned more and more. He was very successful at Wisconsin. Arkansas didn't quite turn out the way he wanted it to. And now he's got something rolling here at Illinois. And being an Illinois guy, growing up in the state, I think he's got it going in the right direction.
Yeah, this year's Illinois team, you've seen them progress through the year and be so successful under him. What is it about this team? What do you think is in the water that's got them 5-1 heading into Michigan?
I think, sometimes you get a quarterback that had trouble a year ago, and Luke's so much better this year, so much more efficient. Second year in the system. I think, I talked to Brett in the offseason and said, how much better are you going to be? And the first thing he said was, quarterback's going to be better. And boy, is he right. And that makes a big difference. And if you've got a quarterback playing like he's playing right now, you've got a chance to win every game.
What about the atmosphere tomorrow? Games like this can be pretty imposing, but at the end of the day, you are taking on the defending national champion. Right. Can Illinois live up to this moment?
I think so. I think they're ready for it. The hype all week. I'm really excited to be here for the 100th anniversary rededication of the stadium. I'm kind of a history buff when it comes to football, both college and pro, and I respect the game so much. And to go back and think about the Red Granges and, Jim Thorpe before him and all the great players that made the game what it is. And, Dick Butkus was my favorite player when I was growing up, and I didn't even like the Chicago Bears. I just Dick Butkus fan. So to be here and to be part of it, we're going to kind of get in the style of things a little bit. I can't tell you too much about that, but we're going to get in the period of 100 years ago, what it might look like in the booth and that type of thing. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's going to be a good football game, but we're all kind of juiced just to be part of this.
You should have been at the ceremony this morning that they had. It was beautiful, everything that they did for the university.
I should have. I wanted to do some of the things yesterday, too, as a matter of fact. And, business is business. We got stuff to take care of.
There was a little girl running around. I didn't hear what it was, but she was like, I'm a huff. And I was like, little girl, you have no idea. From an X's and O's standpoint, how does Illinois shut down this Michigan run game?
That's going to be tough. I think they'd like to be a little heavier on the front line defensively. That's going to be the biggest problem. I think what Illinois wants to do is outscore, obviously. You want to outscore the team, but I think they got to put points up and, worry about where it comes from. The passing game, I think Illinois' passing game against the Michigan defense is the key. And if they can slow down the two guys in the backfield, it's going to be a pretty heavy task, though.
Last question for you. What may the casual football viewer, somebody who isn't as experienced as you, might not see about this Illinois team that makes them so special?
I still think it's the two wide receivers and Altmaier. Pat Bryant and Franklin, those two guys are the key. If they don't have a big game, I think it's going to be a long day for Illinois. But I expect them to have a big game.
Brad, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.